Hey guys, I'm Alexa Odom. I am new to YouTube and I love doing my makeup and I love watching Netflix. So today I am going to be doing my makeup while I review one of my favorite shows that is on Netflix that is out right now. It is called All American. It has 2 seasons out and it's definitely a great show to binge watch while we are definitely under quarantine. So yeah, I like I said, I'm new to YouTube. It would be awesome if you liked and subscribed to this page. Before I start, I'm just going to take a sip of my drink. Alright, so today, before I get into the details of the show, I always like to use a nice moisturizer before I put any primer or foundation on. I actually use the Tatcha, the Dewy Skin Cream. I think I actually really like this, especially for someone who has really dry skin, because it's really heavy set. So I'm going to use that before I put anything on. So the base of the show is also, just so you know, it comes with this cute little tiny spatula, so you don't have to like put your fingers in here and then it gets all gross and like you just don't want to do that. And plus I prefer the little spatula, it's cute. So the base of the show is pretty much there's this guy named Spencer James. He is a really good football player. He goes to this high school called Crenshaw Heights. The show is based in California, so pretty much there's this guy, Billy Baker. He is the coach for Beverly Hills High School, and he sees Spencer James playing for Crenshaw Heights. He wants to recruit him over to Beverly Hills High School, which, I mean, I'm sure most people know if you're from California or if you've ever heard anything about Beverly Hills. It is a very, I want to say like a rich type of area, big houses and a lot of millionaires live there and all that stuff. Whereas in the show, they represent Crenshaw Heights more as a low income type area. So it is like a really, really big change for Spencer James to want to go over to Beverly Hills High School. Next, I am also going to use my Farsali Skin to Blur. I love this stuff because it makes my skin feel really soft and also blurs out all of my pores. But yeah, so it's like a really big change for him to be able to move to an area like that. And not to mention, like, he is the captain of his football team in Crenshaw Heights. So it's like, does he really want to leave his team? Because he knows if he leaves, if he doesn't leave his team will make it to state championships, right? So he has like a really, really big decision to make. But while he's also making this decision, he is struggling with the simple fact that he doesn't know his dad. His dad's not around, and like he wishes his dad could be around to kind of help him with this decision that he makes. Um, there's a lot more to the story too, where like Spencer James's mom, Grace, knows Billy Baker from when they went to high school. So pretty much she's kind of letting her son know, like, I don't really want you to make such a big decision and go all the way to Beverly Hills to go to school, because then if he goes to Beverly Hills, he won't be able to like live in Crenshaw for like it's like a school thing. I can't think of the name at the top of my head of what it's called, but when I figure it out, I will write it down below. So I am going to use the Lancome. I never know how to pronounce the name of this. It's French. So it's like teint, idole, ultra rare. Please correct me on how to pronounce this because I have no idea. So with this show, like I I personally suggest it because it's like a good binge watching show. There's like a good amount of drama in the show as well. Um, so Billy Baker actually has two kids. He has Jordan and he has um, Olivia, which is his son and his daughter. They're twins. Um, when in the show, um, his daughter Olivia actually ends up having a crush on Spencer. Um, but Spencer has his eyes on this girl, Layla. Well, Layla is like the captain of the cheerleading squad, and of course she's like gorgeous. Um, and her and Olivia don't really tend to get along because of some drama that happened in their past. But the thing is, Layla is dating their, I think it's their running back. I think it's their running back for Beverly Hills, Asher. So, of course, you already see how that's going. There's going to be some drama there, and you know, Spencer hits on Layla, and Asher sees it, and he gets all mad and annoyed, and gets all big and tough, and it's kind of hilarious because the guy who plays Asher, he's originally from the show called Teen Wolf that was on MTV. So when I watch him, I just can't get the picture of the guy from Teen Wolf out of my head. So, like I said, um, pretty much Jordan has a really hard relationship with his dad because of the simple fact that his dad, Jordan is the captain of the football team for Beverly Hills, and he gets like kind of tough on him, and it almost puts this weird dynamic and relationship on them because his dad like pretty much only sees him as like something to make him bigger, I guess, or like pushes him to be harder because oh, what I forgot to mention was Billy Baker actually played football. And he was on Arizona, like Arizona State College, I think that's what it's called. And he like became like this big football star and everything. So of course, like he's like this rich dad living in Beverly Hills because he was a football player and now he's a coach there. So Jordan kind of has to look up to his dad's legacy. Um, so I might not mention everything I'm using for makeup, by the way, just because I am going to be talking a lot about the show compared to actually like talking about all my makeup. So I'll just write in the description box down below everything I've used, because like I said, I might not be able to talk about it all. So I'll probably start rambling a lot about the show. So pretty much like Jordan like feels like he has to like live up to this legacy and everything of his dad, which I feel like with any kid, especially in high school, like that can be really tough. And with Olivia, she has like a really severe history where in the show it gets more in depth in it. I'm not gonna ruin that for you, but pretty much like if you notice throughout the whole show, she's pretty sober, and struggles with facing any type of like parties and stuff like that, which is kind of hard, I feel like, in high school as well. Um, so then you also have one of Spencer's friends who I absolutely adore. This, I want to say actress, yeah, actress. Her name is Breezy. I can't remember her name in the show, but she is one of Spencer James's like best friends out in Crenshaw, and she is like getting herself caught up in the gang life, which that it does show a lot of that as well because the good thing with Spencer like leaving Crenshaw is because like I said, he hasn't made his decision yet, but he does kind of go back and forth between Crenshaw and Beverly Hills to see which one he is going to choose. So at the so they like I said, they go back and forth and they show his friend Breezy kind of getting caught up into the gang life. And if any of you know her, she was actually on Empire before, and she's actually a really, really talented rapper. Um, and they kind of show her like fiddling around with her rapping skills as well on the show. So she really does want to get into music, but to survive, she gets a part of a gang, which, you know, for anyone, that's kind of like hard, I feel like, right? Um, but that's kind of the lifestyle that they live out there. Um, so with that, um, it shows a lot of like Spencer and her dynamic, and like him trying to convince her, like, you know, like this is not the lifestyle that you should be living, like you can do better as well, blah blah blah. And she's like, I need to do this to survive, to live in this area. So, which sadly, like that's just kind of how it is, you know. So there's like this one gang in their area who tends to cause like a lot of issues around the area. Um, which is there's like two of them and they're rivals, and one of them is a little bit more dangerous than the other. Um, and Breezy is a part of the one that's not as dangerous, but the good thing about like I don't know where I'm going with that sentence, but it's fine. Um, so with Breezy, she does at the end of the show kind of choose her own path, which you know you can find out when you watch the show. And then, so moving on, we're going to talk about Asher, because I did bring him up, but I didn't really talk about him. He is dating Layla. Like I said, he is like the running back of the team, and he's kind of a brat. Like I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of a brat. Um, he kind of is like really rude to Spencer, and he um doesn't like he's like that rich kid, you know? He's just that kid that like is really spoiled and kind of bratty and doesn't really know what it's like to be outside of the area that he's in. And but the thing is, the more you find out about him, you kind of like actually tend to feel bad for him because his home life isn't really easy. So like he puts on this really tough game, and he also like makes it seem like he's untouchable, but really in the show, like, you know, he's got it really rough with his family life, and he is actually like more in trouble with his home life than you actually think. And then you're like, oh, like I actually kind of feel bad for him. And then he does kind of like tend to turn a new leaf, um, which is nice. You know what I mean? Like he kind of like loses everything, and then you kind of are like, oh shit, that sucks. But then you like start to love him, especially like once you get to the second season. Like the second season, you like completely change your whole opinion on him, which you're like, what the heck? I hated this kid. Now you're like, oh my gosh, I love him. Like he's such a nice little baby. So sorry, that was really loud. When so like also another person, I always keep forgetting to like bring up certain people. Um, Asher and Olivia. Asher and Olivia also have like a really weird history, which you get like into. Which honestly, their history becomes like really great for the show, and it's actually like really sweet, and it makes it like really nice. Also, like just so you guys know, I'm only premising like the actual show. I'm not gonna go into like too much details, because I don't want to like ruin the show or give any spoiler alerts. But if you guys want me to go more in depth in my future reviews, I definitely will. If like you don't care about spoilers, I will, and I'll just put in the beginning like, hey, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the show, I suggest you don't, watch. So, let's talk about Grace. So Grace's mom is a single mom, like I said earlier. She is so pretty much she's raising Spencer and her son alone, which I feel like for any mom that is a single mom or any parent in general, being a single parent is really, really difficult, especially when you're not, when like sometimes you are struggling to pay the bills and everything. And for her, she does want to go back to school. Um, and, her sons constantly are bothering her about wanting to know more about their father. And um, like what happened to him and why he left, and a lot of like both of the sons kind of blame it on themselves um, throughout the whole show. And later on, you come to find out exactly why he left, and it's kind of like pretty upsetting, like when you find out, because they always wanted to know more about their father and why he left and everything. And then when they do find out, it's kind of like, I don't want to say a slap across the face, but it's definitely not like the easiest outcome to find out. Um, Sorry, I'm gonna get like really close to my mirror so I can contour his nose. I just want to say ahead of time, I'm really sorry if this whole thing is a mess. Some things just keep coming back to my head about the show, and I'm like, oh, wait, I need to bring that up too. So, back to Jordan, Billy Baker's son. He actually like it's almost the same thing with Asher. Like they've never stepped outside of Beverly Hills or like a above average like income. So they like don't like he doesn't really understand also the lifestyle of living in the low income area, and dealing with gangs and dealing with hearing shootings all the time. So one of the episodes, and it will kind of be like a spoiler alert, but not really. In one of the episodes, Jordan actually gets pulled over in his Mercedes, and a white cop pulls him over, and it like kind of shows like a little bit about like police brutality and him kind of waking up to the fact that like he is not protected just because that he has money. He kind of, it's like almost kind of an eye opener for him. Like, you have Spencer also in the car who's like, hey dude, like chill. You can't talk to the police officer that way. And the police officer kind of like slams him on the car, and he's like, you you're being disrespectful and everything. And like he's lucky that his mom is a lawyer and can kind of get him out of jail and everything for all that stuff. So yeah, he's kind of got lucky with that aspect, but it kind of was like an eye-opener for him, that like just because he does come from a wealthy family and like a family that is known and everything, like he's not resistant, or I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of the word on the top of my head, but he's not like invincible to the world, like the outside world. Like these things happen to him too. You know what I mean? So we're going to move on to my eyebrows, but I am not going to do those on camera. So give me like 5 minutes, I'll be back. So now that I'm back after doing these eyebrows, which let me tell you, this is probably the best my eyebrows have looked in a while. But I'm going to use the new Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, which is the volume 2. So back to talking about the show. So don't really remember where I left off, so if I repeat myself, I'm really sorry. Um, so back to Jordan. So with his relationship too, with like his parents, they kind of also like give him whatever he wants, which I don't always agree with. I'm sure no one really always agrees with that stuff. But in the show, like they kind of give him whatever he wants, whereas they're a little bit more hard on Olivia. Um, so she's a little bit more like looked after and everything, and I'm sure you can guess why. It's because of the simple fact that she had addiction problems, and she suffers through trying to stay sober throughout pretty much the whole show. Not even just in the first season, but she also in the second season she struggles a little bit with it. Um, and it causes like this really weird dynamic between um, the like brother and sister's relationship too, because like they tend to like compete for their parents. Like I always keep forgetting the words that I'm thinking of because they just slip through my brain. So um, but they kind of like compete for their parents' like affection and attention, um, because I will say they in the show they do kind of give it more to Jordan, even though that kind of changes when Spencer comes around, because you know his dad is more focused on whatever is better for the team, um, which at the time Jordan wasn't actually doing that well on the team. A lot of people were like, you know, telling Billy Baker, like, your son doesn't know how to throw a ball. And he, like, didn't really bring that up to his son, but it definitely is, like, a big thing because he's the quarterback. Um, so a lot of people were, like, coming up to Billy Baker, which is Jordan's father. Sorry to repeat that, but I'm sure some people are like, Alexa, where are you going with this? Because you've lost me. He like is getting a lot of slack from like recruitments and everything because his son is like good, but he's like plays it really safe. You know what I mean? So like he's trying to, of course, make his son known, but when Spencer comes in, now that I've pretty much wrapped up everyone that like in the show, I'm just gonna give like some honest opinions about the show. I Also, if you didn't notice, I put on some lashes, and they are So Hollywoods by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I actually really love them because they make my eyes look a little bit more almond shaped because I do have really big round eyes. So, just so you know. But all in all, with this show, I think it's like a really good binge watching show right now. I think it's number 2 on the top 10 of all the shows on Netflix. But I personally really like the show. I think that it has like a lot of things that bring awareness to the show that I think sometimes really need to be brought to awareness and brought to light. I also like really like the dynamic of the show. I like the people that are in it. If I didn't mention it before, the person who plays Billy Baker is Taye Diggs, and I'm sure most of you guys know who Taye Diggs is. You know, he was in Rent. I'm pretty sure he was also in The Wire, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. But he, you know, he like a lot of people love him, so a lot of people do watch the show because of him. But yeah, I really love the show. I think that if you want something new to watch, that it's a great show to watch, especially like during this time of all of us, you know, not really having anything to do and being in home, which I will say, please stay home right now. It's probably best if you do. Um, so yeah, like I said, I love the show. Um, I think you should give it a watch. Again, if there is anything that you suggest me to review, I would really love all of your recommendations. Like I said, I love watching Netflix shows, especially Netflix original shows. So if there's any Netflix original shows that you have in mind that you'd like me to talk about, give them to me because I would love to talk about them. I'd love to review them. Usually at the end of this, I would probably put a lip on, but I forgot my lip. So this is the makeup look. I'm going to take my hair down so you can kind of see what everything will look like all together. Sorry, my hair is a little wild today because I've had it up all day. I think my hair looks alright. Alrighty. Okay, awesome. So, again, thank you for coming and watching my channel today. Please, again, subscribe and like this video and leave a comment down below for anything that you'd like me to watch and any recommendations that you have. Have a nice day.